Good morning, students. Today's topic is microorganisms, friends and foe. Where do microorganisms live? Actually, these microorganisms live in all types of environments, ranging from ice cold climate to hot springs and deserts to marshy lands. And they also found inside the bodies of animals, including humans, and some organisms grow on other organisms, while some others exist freely. Microorganisms play an important role in our lives. Some of them are beneficial in many ways, where others are harmful and cause diseases. Let us see how microorganisms are useful to us. Preparation of curd. Curd contains several microorganisms. Of these, Lactobacillus bacteria promotes the formation of curd. It multiplies in milk and converts milk into curd. Bacteria not only useful in the preparation of curd but also involved in the making of cheese, pickles and many other food items. Bacteria and yeast also helpful for the fermentation of rice, idli and dosa batter. That is the reason why your mother prepares idli and dosa batter one day before to make it fermented. Yeast is a type of fungi. If we add a small quantity of yeast powder to maida dough to make it soft, yeast reproduces rapidly and produces carbon dioxide gas during respiration. So, this carbon dioxide gas fills the dough and increases its volume. This is the reason, basis of the usage of yeast in the baking industry for making bread, pastries, and cakes. Commercial use of microorganisms. Microorganisms are used for the large scale production of alcohol, wine, and acetic acid. Acetic acid is commonly called as vinegar. Yeast is used for commercial production of alcohol and wine. Commercial production means it is produced in the industries. Alcohol and wine are manufactured in industries. For this purpose, yeast is grown on natural sugars present in grains like barley, wheat, rice, and crushed fruit juices, etc. Alcohol is produced by yeast by a process called fermentation. Let us see what is the fermentation. If you take sugarcane juice, actually sugarcane juice is available in markets. Take the juice and add a spoon of yeast powder to this juice and keep it covered in a warm place uh, for 4 to 5 hours. And after that, if you smell it, you can observe a characteristic smell of alcohol, that is somewhat a sour smell. This is because the sugars are converted into alcohol by yeast. So, this process of conversion of sugars into alcohol is known as fermentation. This fermentation process was discovered by Louis Pasteur for the first time in 1857. Medicinal use of microorganisms. Whenever you fall ill, the doctor may give you some antibiotic tablets, capsules, or injections, such as of penicillin. The source of these medicines is microorganisms. These medicines kill or stop the growth of disease causing microorganisms. Such medicines are called as antibiotics. Nowadays, a number of antibiotics are being produced from bacteria and fungi. For example, streptomycin, tetracycline, erythromycin, or some of the commonly used antibiotics which are made from fungi and bacteria. Actually, these antibiotics are manufactured by growing specific microorganisms and are used to cure a variety of diseases. Antibiotics are even mixed with the feed of livestock and poultry to check microbial infections in animals, and they are also used to control many plant diseases. Alexander Fleming. Alexander Fleming is an army doctor, and he was when he was working on a culture of disease-causing bacteria, suddenly he found the spores of a little green mold in one of his culture plates. He observed that the presence of mold prevented the growth of bacteria. In fact, it is also killed many of these bacteria. So, from this, he separated a fungus which was identified as Penicillium notatum. The substance which was produced by the fungus is penicillin, uh, penicillium, which is named as penicillin. So, substances that killed bacteria was generally named as antibiotics by Dr. Alexander Fleming. One important thing we should keep in mind is about antibiotics. It should be taken only on the advice of a qualified doctor. Also, you must complete the course prescribed by the doctor. If you take antibiotics when not needed or in wrong doses, it may make the drug less effective when you might need it in your future. Also, antibiotics taken unnecessarily may kill the useful bacteria in our body. Antibiotics, however, are not effective against cold and flu as these are caused by viruses, so that it is not advisable to take antibiotics during cold and fever. Vaccine. When a disease causing microorganisms enter our body, the body produces some defenders or soldiers to fight against them. These are called antibodies. Antibodies fight the disease causing microorganisms. When a vaccine is given which contains weak microorganisms, our body learns to fight them by producing antibodies. Whenever danger comes, when the disease causing microorganisms enter our body, the already present antibodies fight and eliminate them, and the disease is controlled. These antibodies remain in the body and we are protected from the disease causing microbes forever. This is how a vaccine works. But vaccines were not known even 300 years ago. It was only after many experiments conducted by several scientists in 18th century helped us to get them. The most remarkable of such experiments was that conducted by Dr. Edward Jenner in the year 1796 that gave us the first vaccine against a disease caused in human. Edward Jenner discovered the vaccine for smallpox in 1798. The disease is a very dangerous and dreadful disease in those days, and that disease now it is completely wiped off from the world. In your childhood also, you have been given injections to protect yourself against several diseases. One of such is polio. Polio vaccination is given to children to protect children against polio disease under pulse polio program. Polio drops also given to children are actually a vaccine. Polio drops means vaccine. And a worldwide campaign against smallpox has finally led to its eradication from most parts of the world. See, nowadays, so many vaccines are made on large scale from microorganisms to protect human and other animals from several diseases. Some of these vaccines for diseases like cholera, tuberculosis, smallpox, and hepatitis can be prevented by vaccination. Increasing soil fertility. About 78% of air around us is nitrogen gas. Plants need it mainly for synthesizing proteins, but they cannot make it from the atmosphere directly. Microorganisms like Rhizobium, Nostoc, Anabaena, Azotobacter help to provide these essential elements to the plants by fixing them from atmosphere to form certain compounds that they release into the soil that can be taken up by the plants, and these microbes are commonly called as biological nitrogen fixers. Cleaning the environment. Microorganisms play a major role in cleaning the environment. You often see large amounts of dead organic matter in the form of decaying plants and sometimes dead animals on the ground. You find that they disappear after some time. This is because the microorganisms decompose dead organic waste of plants and animals and converting them into simple substances. These substances again used by the plants and animals. Thus microorganisms can be used to degrade the harmful and smelly substances and thereby cleaning up the environment. This is about the useful microorganisms. We can discuss about harmful microorganisms in our next video. Thank you.